Good afternoon. This is Jason Bradow, and this is my technology proposal presentation for ORM 456 for Professor Wagner and for Pastor Ed Emmerling, Westside staff, and the Westside church members. So initially when I did an interview with Pastor Emmerling, we talked about a couple of issues facing Westside Church currently. And these were a couple of the things that were recurrent in our conversation and what I chose to do my research and presentation on. So the first one is the cyclical giving and revenue. For the past couple of years, Westside has had an issue with, in June, July, and August, basically the summer months, they had a dip in their giving and thus their revenue for the year. So before that, they never really seen this, but in the last couple of years, this has showed up. Basically what happens is when the summer months in Michigan comes, a lot of our members take and they leave to go to cabins and vacations and other things. And so when they're not in the building for the Sunday morning service, they don't tithe, they don't give, and so revenues drop. And so that was one of the issues that Westside has faced and that me and Pastor Emmerling talked about. And another issue was problems facilitating mercy ministry needs and opportunities. So these are the things like the little old lady needs her lawn mowed or her driveway shoveled or plowed. She can't do it, and so she calls the church or Pastor Emmerling or whoever and asks to have something done. Or somebody can't pay a consumer's bill, or a van needs repaired and they don't have the money for it. Things like that. Those are mercy ministry opportunities that come into Westside Church. So those are the two things that me and Pastor Emmerling talked about the most. So the first thing we're going to really dig into and cover is giving and the revenue issues. What are the issues that the revenue shortages are causing? The first one is the inability to stick with the approved annual budget. So every year, Westside Church has a committee, a financial committee. They sit down and they make a budget for the year, and then it's approved by the members. And so when there's a shortage in the revenue for the month, we have an inability to stick with that annual budget, and it causes us issues in how the church functions and the way we pay our bills and those things. The second thing is inability to save money for the future. And so depending on whether it be van repairs for our Golden Gophers, which is our senior people, or our youth vans, or whatever it is, we'd like to try to save money in advance so things that arise that are unforeseen, we can cover with those monies. Inability to capitalize on ministry opportunities that arise. And so these are the things where Pastor Emmerling will be in his office and he'll get a phone call and say, hey, there's an opportunity to step into a ministry here. If we don't have the funds to do that, if Westside doesn't have the funds sitting to do that, then those opportunities get missed. Undue stress on the pastor and staff. This kind of relates to that top one. It stresses our Pastor Emmerling out and our staff here at the church out when ministry opportunities come in, but because of funding issues, we can't do those things. That's why the church is here, is to fund those kind of things, and when we're low on revenue, we can't do those things. So then the last one is inability to stay on top of church maintenance issues. Westside Church is an aging church. There is some needs for driveway repair and parking lot repair, furnace and air conditioners replaced. And when revenue falls short, those things can't get covered. And so that in turn stresses the pastor and the staff out. The next slide is actually kind of the bones of it. This is like the research that I did. How to improve giving and revenue. And so what I did is I started to hit the internet and started to talk to other pastors that I know at Spring Arbor and different places to try to find out how do we help alleviate this dip in this June, July, and August time that really throws the budget for Westside out of whack. A couple of the options that we came across was text to give, and there's a company called Easy Tithe, which is the company that I chose to kind of really zero in on. They have text to give options, they have smartphone options, they have online pay options. There's another company who Givelify.com is the name of their company. They specify, they're real specific in smartphone apps only. Then there's the donate tab or donate button on the church website. Most people are familiar with that. That's where you go to the church's website and there's a link on there somehow, some way You can click on it, and then you can give through there. The thing with that is you have to be online, and you have to have either a laptop or a desktop computer to do that. So a lot of the older congregation doesn't have that option. And then social media links. This is your Facebook and your Twitter. So pretty much every church now has a Facebook page, and a lot of times they have a donate button on that page that links to an account, and you can donate through that as well. So those are kind of some of the ways that you can go about doing that. This is, I made up a little spreadsheet kind of thing. This is giving and revenue amounts for 2016, 2017 for Westside Church. And I put these on here so you could see the amounts per month, but then you could also see what I was telling you about the dip in the revenue for the June, July, and August amounts. So you can see we're pretty steady here. One thing to keep in mind is Westside Church, their annual budget is $260,000. And so how they come about with that is it's basically $5,000 a week times 52 weeks. Takes you to $260,000. So we add these numbers up, you can see, so we're pretty solid here. And then when we get to the June, which is in Michigan, when everybody gets out of school and families start to take their vacations, people miss the Sunday morning service, and that's where we see the dip. So you can see here in June, both years, we go from being in the 20s down into the 17s. And then the next slide is July through December, and you can see that same trend continues. We're down into the $16,000 and $17,000 marks, which is well short of where we need to be. Each one of these months basically needs to be about $20,000. So anything we're short of $20,000, we're basically short of budget. So you can see that we do pretty good all the other months. We have a little glitch here in December, but that's an anomaly. We made up for it in October. But basically, the June, July, and August months are the months that really hurt Westside Church. And so this next slide is increases in giving and revenue using the Easy Tithe system. So we talked about that Easy Tithe, and I have a video to show you in a minute that'll tie all that together. But basically, Easy Tithe says that they have an overall average of an increase of 32% for churches who use their text to give and their app and their web-based system. And so what I've done is in the months of June, July, and August, I kind of rounded that down a little bit and went with a 25% increase. And then the months of January, February, March, April, May, and then September, October, November, December, I put just a small 10% increase in there for those months. So basically what this is showing is increases in giving with revenue, increases in giving and revenue with the Easy Tithe system. And keep in mind 10%, 10%, and then June, July, and August is 25% each month. So these are those increases from the numbers I just showed you with those increases built in. And then this is for the second half of the year. So you can see each one of our numbers now is above that $20,000 mark, except for we're just short for here in December of 16. So each one of those numbers has gotten quite a bit better. This slide shows total revenues for 16 and 17, so these are the totals. So keep in mind, $260,000 was the number that we had to have to meet budget. So you can see in each year that we fell short of that number. Now, if we add in the $25,000 or 25% for June, July, and August, and 10% for the other months, if you add in that increase, that takes you to from 255 to 288 and from 244 to 276 for increases of $33,000 and $32,000. That does what we need it to do. So just those nominal increases there, which is well below the 32% really of what Easy Tithe says that they have, and that's over a 5-year period. We go from being short of our 260 to actually having a surplus over our 260. So every pastor and staff in church would love to be in this situation. So just one easy change using the Easy Tithe system, and we can go from a deficit to a revenue surplus in just that one system. So in the report that I have that I will give, it outlines all these numbers in more detail and shows exactly how this stuff comes about. But that's just to give you a brief overview in the presentation of how easy the Easy Tithe system is and how big of a change it can make to your bottom line. So I got a video that I want to show you of the Easy Tithe system. They have a great website, And so they have a quick little 1-minute video to watch that kind of gives a little bit about them.
This is Bob. Bob loves his church and donates regularly. But when Bob goes on vacation... This is Bob. Bob loves his church and donates regularly. But when Bob goes on vacation, the church misses his tithe. But what if Bob's church has Easy Tithe? Bob could set up recurring giving in a few quick steps. His donations flow directly to his church, and the church could do more ministry. That's the power of an online giving system from Easy Tithe. We make tithing easier for you and your donors, improving stewardship and your bottom line. Lots of churches agree. Ken has twice as many donors choosing to give online with lower fees. And at Diane's church, members find it easy to pay online whenever they want. With Easy Tithe, your giving is stabilized and easy to track. Our mobile web app and text giving even let your members tithe on the go. Minimize the fees, maximize your ministry. Get started today at easytithe.com.
Okay, so that's just a little bit about Easy Tithe, but you can see how easy it is. Your members can be sitting on a beach in Scotia or Florida or wherever and say, oh, I've missed the Sunday morning service, and they can tithe right then and there, or they can set up online for a recurring tithe where they don't even have to remember. It just automatically hits at the same time each week, and they give their tithe, so they're happy, and the church receives their giving and revenues, and so the church is happy, so it's a win-win for everybody. So it's a pretty good deal. The next thing that I want to cover is the second thing that I talked to Pastor Emmerling about, and that is the Mercy Ministries issue. What are the perceived problems? So what happens is, say the little old lady needs her yard mowed, or her van broke down, or whatever it is. So a church member calls and says, Pastor Emmerling, my van broke down and I can't get to the grocery store. Do you know of anybody that can help me, or can come fix my van, or take me to the grocery store, or whatever? Well, in the years past, what's happened is Pastor Emmerling will be at the funeral home meeting with a family, or he'll be at the hospital, or he'll be on vacation, or whatever. He's not in a position really to do anything with that phone call. And so there's a lack of communication, because then he has to try to in turn get a hold of somebody else on church staff, church secretary, whoever it be, and try to communicate that need to somebody else, because he's not in the office to handle it. And so sometimes it falls through the cracks or it gets missed altogether. Not on any fault on anybody's part, just the busyness of pastoral life. Sometimes those things happen. Or they'll call the office after the office is closed, leave it on the recorder, but then it doesn't get caught till the next day or whenever, maybe the next following Monday sometimes. So there's no set system in place right now. And so that's the thing that Pastor Emmerling expressed to me, is we need a set system in place so that we don't have these things falling through the cracks, so everybody feels like their needs are valued and can be taken care of by the church family. Undue stress on church staff. This has happened a few different times. Things have fallen through the cracks, and it was really legitimate needs that somebody in the church had, and it fell through the crack or got forgotten because of whatever. And so then that makes them feel bad and causes them undue stress that really we can alleviate. Church members feel like pastor has a favorite. Sometimes I have heard this conversation when I was talking to different members of the church body. If Pastor Emmerling happens to forget their perceived need, that they had a van that needed some new tires or whatever it is, and it gets forgotten or gets missed or doesn't get taken care of, they perceive it as the pastor doesn't care that much about them, and it kind of got pushed to the side and it just went away. So a system in place can help alleviate all of these problems. So how do we fix the Mercy Ministries issues? What I came up with in my research, I am currently a student at Spring Arbor University. One of the classes that I have is church leadership, and my professor is a man by the name of Dr. Philip Stout. He was the pastor of Jackson Naz Church, Jackson's Nazarene Church, for 30 plus years. They came up with a system that basically takes their website and adds a tab or a button to it that turns their website into a functioning system to allow Mercy Ministries to happen easier. So what it does is it streamlines the system, taking pressure off of the church staff. So now instead of having to call the pastor or the secretary or whoever it may be, they can go right to the website, they can click on the tab or the button or the link, and they can enter their need in there all by themselves. So it allows anyone to post a need for help. As long as you're a Westside member and you're in the system, you can post on the website. It allows anyone to see and respond to the post for help. So again, if you're a Westside member and in the system, you can get on there, see the need, you can click the link and get a phone number, a name, an email address, whatever, so that you can make contact with the person who is in need, and you can arrange a time and a place and all those things to take care of that need for them. So it's a self-running system. The pastor and the staff doesn't have to have any part of it. It's self-regulating. So if there's a need that's posted and people in the church see it, but they don't respond to it, then that, after a while, will come off of there. And so people will start to understand, okay, these are some of the needs that I can bring to the church through this that get taken care of. And then the ones that sit there and linger and don't get taken care of, they'll start to figure out, okay, these needs are something that the church isn't probably going to take care of for me. I need to figure it out on my own or some other avenue. So it's a self-regulating system. This is one of the things that Pastor Stout said was pretty amazing about it, is he was leery about it at first, about the kind of like the stress of it on the church body, but he said after a while it regulated itself and it was a non-issue. So it works out well. So I'm going to take you to Jackson Naz's website quickly so you can see how it functions on their website and just to get an idea of how it works. So this is Jackson Naz's website. You can see the different tabs that they have on the top. So you can click Get Involved. It takes you to this screen. And then here's all their different ministry opportunities that they have. Now this is a little bit different than what Westside's would be if they were to set it up. There's Westside's might say mercy ministry opportunities or whatever have you. But so you can go on any of these and you can click, say you want to sign up for Jackson Naz Youth Middle School Mission, right? So you click on it, it says sign up, you click on the sign up, and then it gives you an area for name, number, phone, email, all those things. So this would be where you would enter your information, and then once you entered your information and hit submit, they would send you the information of the person who posted the need with their name and phone number and all those things. So you could contact them and set up an appointment and take care of it when you wanted to. So it self-regulates itself in that way. So it's a pretty nice deal. So time for a conclusion to wrap all of it up. My recommendations are definitely use the EasyType, the web-based system. They've actually expanded their system now. They have the app, they have the text to give, and they have the online resources. It takes care of itself. They charge a $5 monthly fee, and then it's a 2% charge per giving. So the fees are minimal. That's why I chose EasyType over the Givelify, because Givelify's charged a lot more money for the same type of services. So the EasyType web-based system is definitely the way to go. And then the button and tab addition to the Westside website, super straightforward. You can hire an IT guy for $400 to $500. He can come and he can put all this on Westside's current website, add the tab or the button, create all the links, and it self-runs itself. After that point, he just basically has to show the Westside staff how to facilitate it, like to run it, and then after that, it runs itself. So that's my presentation. I just want to thank Professor Wagner and Pastor Remling and his staff for all of the help that he gave to me. Dr. Stout for the information and the information on the Jack Naz website. And I just like to say thank you, and always, God bless. Thank you.